For your safety, please ensure that you read the full disclaimer located in the description below this video before you start your virtual training. Good morning. My name is Katherine, fitness and sports instructor out of London, Ontario, servicing Southwestern Ontario. Welcome to our total body circuit class. The purpose of the class today is to be working our muscles for longer periods of time or more repetitions, so muscular endurance, as well as incorporating metabolic or conditioning intervals to help get our heart rate up and to increase the metabolic demand of the workout. Overall, the purpose here is to be able to increase our capacity to sustain loads for longer periods of time. This will also help promote a positive body composition as well. So to give you a little bit of details for the workout, we're going to be doing 3 groups of 3 different exercises. Each group will be repeated 2 times before moving on to the next group. We'll also have 1 minute of rest in between all of the groups. For the exercise order, the first exercise in each group is going to be a full body fusion exercise. The second exercise is going to be upper body core. And then the third exercise is going to be a conditioning interval to help, again, increase that heart rate and get you sweating a little bit. For the workout, you're only going to need 1 piece of resistance. So this might look like 1 dumbbell. So I have one 12-pound dumbbell here. It could also look like 1 kettlebell, 1 laundry detergent bottle, or a backpack or a drawstring bag loaded up with a couple of textbooks to give you a little bit of resistance. Additionally, you might want a bottle of water, perhaps a sweat towel, to help prepare you for the workout. I'll be going over a brief demonstration of the exercises, we'll do a warm-up, and then we'll get right into the workout itself. Cue up your tunes and let's get ready. Alright, let's get into the demonstration of the exercises. So just to review, we're going to be doing each exercise for 40 seconds and then doing 20 seconds of rest. You can always modify this workout to do 50, then 10, or you could do 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. Always listen to your body. So I'm going to demonstrate using the dumbbell, but during the workout I'll also make sure to incorporate the bag so that you can see the differences of how the exercise might be performed depending on the equipment that you have available to you. So the first exercise is going to be a snatch and squat. So we're going to put the dumbbell right in between our feet underneath of our body. This helps to make sure that the weight doesn't fly out in front of us. So we're going to get into a squat position, knees over the toes, bending at the knees and the waist. We're going to grab the dumbbell from the center. You can have your arm back to counterbalance. You're going to bring the dumbbell up into the snatch. So dumbbell right up over the head, arm extended. Bring the dumbbell down in front of the face, and then come into a squat and switch arms. So snatch up, squat down, and switch arms. This move requires a little bit of power, okay? Next up, we're going to do push-ups. So I'm going to put the dumbbell off to the side. I'm going to get into a really nice push-up position. I want my hands underneath of my shoulders, or maybe slightly shoulder width apart, or a little wider than shoulder width apart. And then I want to make sure that my chest is right over top of my wrist. So nice neutral spine, back is flat, glutes are tucked in, and I'm going to bend at my elbows, coming down to a 90-degree angle, and then pushing back up. And we'll maintain this for the full 40 seconds at your own pace. I'll give some further modifications or adjustments once we get into the workout. Next, we're going to be doing a plank walk to a plank jack. So we're going to start in a standing position, starting nice and tall. We're going to walk out into an inchworm, so hinging from the hips, nice neutral spine, walking our hands out. And then we're going to do 4 plank jacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the feet are together, and we're going to jump them out to the side, back in, again making sure shoulders are over top of the wrists. Then we'll walk it back up, and repeat by walking it again. Okay, so that's group number 1. Group number 2 is going to be a single leg deadlift to a single arm upright row. So again, I'll show you with the dumbbell. So single leg deadlift, we're going to have 1 foot planted on the ground, 1 foot behind us or extended. And this is a bit of a balancing exercise, so I might show you from the side. You can have the dumbbell in either hand depending on your lead leg. It doesn't really matter, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're going to hinge at the hips, leg and upper body hinging at the same time. Coming back up, you can plant the toe on the ground, and then we're going to row the arm up. So again, we're going to do a deadlift and a row. Deadlift and a row. So just make sure that you're working within your own range of motion for that one. Next up, we're going to have a side plank. So we're going to be on the ground on one side. Again, we're only repeating all the exercises twice, so we can isolate one side and then do it on the other side if we'd like to. Elbow underneath the shoulder, body in a nice straight line, hand on the hip or out in a T position. You're going to raise your hips up off the floor, and you can either hold this or you can add the added element of dipping the hips slightly. But just make sure that we're pulling the core nice and tight there, staying engaged. Then we've got toe taps with a burpee. So this one's kind of fun. It's a bit of a soccer drill, and again, I'll show you from the side here. So I'm going to have my dumbbell out on the ground. Back here. Dumbbell is on the ground, and I'm going to tap it with my toes like a soccer drill. So pretending that I'm passing a ball back and forth. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to come down onto the ground, burpee, and back up. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down into a squat, hands on the ground. Jump or step back into plank, and step back up. Jump or step back up. And then you'd repeat going from there. Okay? Next is the last group. So we're going to start off with a wall sit with a shoulder press. So we're going to find a clear spot on the wall. So I'm going to go right over here. And I'm going to put my glutes and my back up against the wall. I'm going to walk my feet out a little bit, a couple feet away. And then I'm going to bend my knees and sit down at a 90-degree angle, taking my dumbbell in both hands. I'm going to press up overhead. I'm going to try and keep my scapula and shoulders pressed up to the wall, keeping my elbows in. So legs and upper body are working there. Okay. Next is going to be your plank with a weight drag. So I'm going to actually need this. So we'll be in a high plank position. So hands about shoulder width apart and chest over top of the wrists. And I'm going to drag my weight from side to side. So trying to keep my core and my hips as stable as possible. I'm going to grab the weight, drag it to the side. And I'm going to grab with opposite. So here I'm grabbing with my left, dragging it to the right, or to the left rather. Grabbing with my right, dragging to the right. And just repeating back and forth. Try not to make the hips bend around too much. And then last but not least, we have a surrender to a squat jump. So there'll be lots of different modifications for this one, but the basic form that I would like you to try to aim to do is that you're going to have your hands up in the air as if you were surrendering. This is going to challenge the shoulder muscles. You're going to step back onto one knee, bring the other knee back, put the bum on the calves, come back up, step back up into a low squat position, and then squat jump. So looking a little bit quicker here. If the shoulders are a little bit too much for you, you can take them out, and you can just do the motion of getting up and down from the ground into the squat jump. But the arms add an extra element of challenge. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the demonstration of the exercises. Let's get started into the warm-up. All right, now that we've seen the exercises, let's get started into our warm-up. So if you have a fitness watch, I'd recommend that you turn it on now at this point. Just do a workout or something along those lines, depending on the watch that you've got. And let's start by marching in place here. So bringing the knees up nice and tall. Maybe you're feeling a little sticky or a little stiff this morning, so just start to work within your own range of motion. Remember that a warm-up is not meant to fatigue us or get us tired. It's to prepare us, get our mind engaged for the work ahead of us. Let's bring it into a hamstring curl now. So bring the heel into the back of the body. And then if you'd like, you can also open up the arms and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Just think of wrapping yourself in a big hug and then opening up the chest. So if you lean the body forward just a little bit, you might feel it in the back of the legs just a bit more. And just make sure that you keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Should feel pretty easy still. 3, 2, 1, and let's shake that out. Arms are going to come up and down. Let them swing back a little bit. Let it feel fairly relaxed, fairly natural, organic. Good. Let's do 2 more. Excellent. Okay, we're going to move into Frankenstein's now. So just working within your own range of motion, of course, you're going to bring one foot up, and you can take a couple steps and other foot. So again, just feeling a small stretch in the back of your hamstring. You don't have to kick super high, just wherever you feel a little bit of tension there. And you could just go back and forth if you wanted to. I'm just taking a couple extra steps in between. Let's do 1 more now. Excellent. Okay, let's practice up a couple of squats. We're doing quite a few squats in this workout, so feet can be a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointed out where you need to, and bending at the knees and the hips. Squeeze the glutes, pull up through the legs at the top. Keep your chest proud and shoulders back. Think of engaging the belly button, drawing the rib cage down to the floor, creating tension through the abdominal muscles. And it can be your own range of motion. I know I've said that probably 3 or 4 times already, but I'm just here to help demonstrate and lead you through the workout. You have to listen to your body. Let's do 2 more. Good. Okay, let's do a couple plank walkouts to a push-up. So standing up nice and tall, we're going to have our feet underneath our hips. Bending from the hips, we're going to walk our hands out. You can choose to hold or do 1 push-up and walk back up into standing. Let's do that again. So walking out, pushing up, and good. A few more. All right, last one here. Push up. Excellent. Let's bring that right foot forward into a nice long lunge. So right knee is bent at 90 degrees. Left leg is nice and straight. Trying to get a nice flat back. Raising the right hand up to the sky. Twisting the spine a little bit. Bring the arm underneath and back up. Starting to feel a little bit warmer. Do that once more. Good. Okay, coming into high plank, switching out, bringing the left foot forward now, and coming up. Good. Breathing. Getting a nice spinal twist here, opening up the hips. Good. High plank position. Let's walk it back up. Slowly roll it up, and let's shake it out. Okay, well done everybody. Let's get started into the workout. All right everybody, let's get started with this workout. So I'm just going to start our timer here, starting off with the snatch and squat. Okay, here we go. Grab a weight. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So if we're going to snatch it with using a backpack, we're going to bring it up and back down and squat. Good. And then you can switch arms if you'd like to. It might take you a couple of tries to get the right grip for the snatch, especially if you're using a backpack rather than a conventional weight. But remember that you're still bringing it up, okay? And back down. Whatever you kind of need to do. If you need to support it with a second hand, that's okay too. But if you're using a dumbbell, then we have it as up, bring it down, and squat. Good. And bring it up. Good. And rest. Okay, so we've got 20 seconds of rest here, and we're going to be working into push-ups now. So we'll be coming down onto the ground. Again, we got a little bit of time here to rest, so that's okay. So arms are going to be straight out in front in a nice high plank position. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So pushing up, Okay, we're going to do the best push-up that we can for us. So if you are working your way into doing push-ups, one strategy might be to do a push-up from the toes down, let the knees come down, and then press up, then bring the legs back up. Push down, and then push up. So rather, you're kind of doing your chest press, knees are down, and pressing back up. Good work. Keep it up. Of course, you can always do push-ups from the knees as well. And rest. Okay, excellent. So now we've got our plank walkout to our plank jack. So we'll be standing from a tall position, walking out into plank, doing 4 plank jacks, and then walking back up into standing. So we've got a couple more seconds here. We'll get into position. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So walking out into your plank, and then plank jack, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then coming back up to stand and repeat. So coming down, you can also hold plank and just bring one toe out at a time. That's okay. You can continue to walk out. You're doing a great job. Keep working hard. Heart rate should be coming up during this section. A little bit of cardio. Nice neutral spine. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, now we've got 60 seconds worth of rest, so we can walk around a little bit, grab a drink of water if we need to. Try not to sit down during this section though. We want to keep our bodies moving and recovering that heart rate if it's elevated. So making sure that you've got an appropriate amount of weight for your snatch. I was struggling a little bit with my bag. I wasn't holding on exactly the way I wanted to. If I maybe had a handle on the top here, that would probably be more suitable. It's a little bit hard if you're just sort of scrunching up a bunch of material. So perhaps the top of a backpack strap would be more suitable for this exercise in particular. But if you weren't using any weight today, you didn't have anything at your disposal, you could of course just practice that snatching movement and come down into a squat, or you could just do some continuous squats if you'd like to. Let's get ready. Here we go. So we're going to bring it up, forward, down. And I'm going to do the exchange at the bottom to really add some tension to my muscle at the bottom of my squat. So from the side, we want to keep the dumbbell close to our body, up overhead, bring it in front of our face, and then squat down. Good work. Use the power momentum from your hips to help get that weight up there. It shouldn't be much of a shoulder press. Good job. Okay, put that weight off to the side. We're going to be moving into our push-ups now. So remember, you can do your push-ups from your knees. You can do the descent and then put the knees down, or you can just do straight push-ups from your toes. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Keep breathing. We want to try and keep the elbows in. We don't want to be bringing the arms out to a 90-degree angle in the push-up. We want to try to pull the elbows back. Think less of your push-up being in a T position and more of an arrow position. We want the elbows tucked in a little bit. It's going to make it a bit more challenging. Try to keep a neutral spine. Don't let your low back sway. And pause. Good. Okay, next up we've got that plank walkout to the plank jack. So just walk it out a little bit, and we'll get started with the next component. Three, 2, 1, here we go. So walking it out into your plank jack for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, back in. Good. And you can tap the toes out to the side, of course. Try to have a little bit of hustle here, move with purpose. It is your conditioning interval, so we want to be moving efficiently. Good work, just a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, rest. Excellent work. Okay, moving on to group number 2. So we've got our single leg deadlift with our upright row. We'll do one side, and then in the second round, we'll do the other side. Then we've got side plank. Again, we'll do one side, then on the other round, we'll do the other side. And then we've got toe taps with our burpee. So just getting ready for that single leg deadlift, I'll review it kind of once more because it can be a bit of a trickier exercise. So one leg's planted fully on the ground. Other one is going to just have the toe touching to start. Hinging from the hips and coming back. So we should feel a little stretch through our hamstring, feeling our glute working hard, and then we're going to pull up into a row, okay? And again, we're going to isolate one side the entire time. Doesn't matter which hand you have it in, really whatever's comfortable for you. Hand can be on the hip or out in a T, whatever you'd like. I think the hip is maybe a little bit more natural. We want to try and keep the toe facing the ground. Try not to open up the hip to the side. We want to keep our hips level. And it's not about getting a huge range of motion. If you can only get to about your knee with your dumbbell, that's okay. I'd rather you keep it slow and controlled than be falling all over the place and only able to do 1 or 2 reps. Let's do a few really good quality reps. Pause. Great work. Next, we've got our side plank with the dip. So we'll be making our way onto the floor again. So we're going to have our elbow right underneath of our shoulder. We don't want it to be too far out to the side. And we want our body to be in a nice straight line, so feet aren't back or forward. And we're going to raise up our hips. Now you can hold this position. We want our shoulders stacked, our hips stacked, not coming too far over. And you can also have the arm out. That'll make it a little bit more challenging. And then if you want to add the dip, you can. Try and keep your ears away, or your shoulders away from your ears. Rather, keep the shoulders pressed down. Good, and you can always hold it at the top, but keep that belly button pulled in, core is engaged. Feeling the side of the abdominals working extra hard. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, next up, toe taps with the burpees. So you can put your bag out in front of you or your dumbbell. It's just kind of to have something to visualize on the ground. So if you just want to have a dumbbell out front, that's a little bit out of my view. There we go. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hands on the ground. Step or jump back. Step or jump back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can choose your pace here. You don't have to have the hop in between. You could come down onto the ground, back into your plank, and then back up again. So again, you can make modifications as you need to. Three, 2, 1, rest. Okay, now we've got our 60 seconds of rest. I'm going to set this off to the side. Grab a drink of water if you need to. My water's out in front here. Whew, okay, so my heart rate's definitely feeling fairly elevated after those toe taps with the burpees. But not unsustainably high. I could definitely maintain this for a longer period of time. I can speak 1 sentence at a time probably, but not too much more than that. But I'm not gasping for air. It's not unsustainably high heart rate. I can definitely feel that I am working more than a resting heart rate would be. So 10 more seconds, we'll get ready for our single leg deadlift. I'll demonstrate that with the bag. Ready? Here we go. So single leg deadlift. and upright row. Actually, you should change feet from the last time. Hopefully you did. I did not. So I'm going to start on this side now. So we really want to try and keep our upper body and lower body moving together. So rather than one and then the other, or the upper body falling but the legs barely coming off the ground, we want to keep it nice and even. Balance those scales. And you might find that this side is a little bit harder than the last one. That's normal. We all have asymmetries. Good. Rest. Excellent. Set your weight off to the side. We're going to be moving into our side plank again. Make sure you're doing the other side for this round. And my elbow is right underneath my shoulder. My hips are stacked. My feet are stacked. Nice straight line. Ready? Here we go. So hand can be up or on the hip. And your other option too, which I forgot to mention, would be to have one knee on the ground. That'll make it a little bit easier if you're not quite ready for full side plank yet. And if you're ready to add the dips, then you can. They're fairly challenging though. Just a little bit of motion there. Doesn't have to be a huge dip. You know, we don't need to be going crazy, but just a little bit can add a little extra. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, next up we've got that toe tap with the burpee. So let's grab our weight or our backpack. Again, just something to visualize. I'm not actually really touching my dumbbell much with my toes. It's just more to have something there. So we got 5 more seconds and we'll get going. 3, 2, 1, let's start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and burpee. Good, and of course you can always come down into your squat and step back up. You've got lots of options there. Three, 2, 1, rest. Awesome work. Set that weight off to the side. We've got our minute of rest. We're moving into group number 3, so we're over halfway finished with this workout. So we've got a wall sit with our shoulder press. Then we've got our plank with our weight drag. And then we have our surrender to our squat jump. Okay? Whew. So make sure that you're walking around. My heart rate's definitely feeling elevated. Working pretty hard, even though this workout is only 21 minutes long. It is still very effective, full body. So we're moving into our last round, so really try and bring your energy into this last round. Give it everything that you've got. You know, you're already doing so awesome today that you press play on this video. I admire that, so let's keep up the momentum. So we're going to grab a weight for your wall sit and shoulder press. So my feet are about hip width apart. I'm trying to get to 90 degrees if I can. I'm going to press up overhead. But if you need to take a rest, that's okay. If you want to go lower, you want to go higher, you can absolutely do that. Try and keep the arms up over the head. Don't let them fly out. We want to try and be parallel with the wall. Woo! Quads are on fire. And 3, 2, 1, rest. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side, or actually we'll use it for our plank drag if we'd like to now. So option to hold plank, of course, but then to add the weight drag is going to make it harder and require more stability through your core. So coming down onto the ground, here we go. So I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to push my weights over. I'm going to take my left and push them over to the right. And I'm just going to go back and forth. So the idea is that I'm not twisting and dipping my hips too much like that. I really want to focus in on remaining completely stable. if I can. So even if you just have one textbook, you could just slide the textbook across a carpeted floor, hardwood floor. Yoga mat might be a little bit tough. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, come back up. All right, next up, we don't need any weights for the next one. But we've got our surrender and our squat jump. So you have the option if you want to do the surrender part with the arms up, you can have them laced together. That's a little bit easier, or you can have them separated. Here we go. So starting standing, one foot back, the other foot back, bum onto the calves, back up to standing, landing in that squat position. So, and of course you can move faster than what I'm demonstrating right now. You can take the arms out of it. And if you don't want to do the squat jump, you could just squat in place. Good. I keep forgetting to go down onto my calves. Excellent. Okay, really well done. We've got one more round to go, and then we are done this workout, so keep the momentum going. You're doing an awesome job today. Thank you for showing up and pressing play on this video. Whew, just a few more moments to go. Keep breathing. Next up, remember we've got that wall sit and a shoulder press. Now, if you had one dumbbell, you could have decided to do one arm at a time. So in the first round, you could have just pressed with one arm, and then the second round, you could press with the other arm. That could be a really good challenging option as well. So just another option there for you. 10 more seconds. I'm going to use my dumbbell for this round. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So pressing up and down. And like I said earlier, if you wanted to, you could press up with one arm at a time. That would be fairly challenging. Woo. I'll switch, keep it even here. Oh, good work. Okay. Definitely feeling my legs are working hard here. Whew. 10 more seconds to go. I'm gonna grind it out. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, so we got our weight drag again. So if you got your dumbbell, you can use that as well. So I'm gonna be coming down into a plank position and dragging my weight to either side. Again, you can hold plank if you'd rather do that today. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Keep control over your core. You're doing awesome. Try to stay stable. Almost there, over halfway. Good work, good work. 3, 2, 1, rest. Okay, awesome. We've got our last exercise of the day is our surrenders with our squat jump. I'm just gonna try to keep moving my legs a little bit here in between. 3, 2, 1, here we go. So my arms are up. I'm gonna step back onto my knees, bring my bum down, come back up, stand up and knees are bent for my squat jump. And again, you can move at a pace that is good for you. If you're really giving yourself a challenge, that little bit of relief, bringing those arms down for the squat jump is nice. 10 more seconds to go, you got this. Almost there, and woo, rest, awesome. Okay, really well done, guys. Stick around for the cool down and stretch. All right, everybody, if you've made it this far into the video, I'm very, very proud of you. It means you've completed the workout. So let's get started into a nice little stretch here. So I know I've got a little bit of sweat pouring down my face, so I know that I felt like I worked pretty hard, and I gave it my best effort during this workout. So I hope you did too, okay? So let's start off with stretching out the quads. So I'm going to grab onto a piece of the wall here, and I'm going to bring one foot into the back of my leg, so heel is going to be trying to touch my bum. I'm going to feel a nice deep quad stretch. So if I lean forward a little bit, I might feel more of a stretch. But we want to be taking some nice deep breaths, letting the heart rate recover. And of course, stretching should not be painful. We should just be feeling a little uncomfortable, a little bit of tension, but we're not trying to get into that painful zone. I'm going to switch sides. Holding onto the wall can just assist with balance. Definitely feeling a little bit more tension on my right side here, and that's normal. I have one side a little bit more tight than the other, that can happen. Okay, let's do a little bit of hamstrings and calves. So again, just holding onto the wall here, bringing one foot out in front. We want to try and maintain a neutral spine, so don't just round the back over, but we want to bend the other knee. So I've got my left foot forward, right knee is bent, and I'm going to come down, hinging from my hips until I feel a nice stretch at the back of my left leg. And we're going to switch. So we've got hamstrings and calves here. We just did quads. So we'll do a little bit of upper body next. Good. Okay. All right, so bringing one arm across the chest, grab above or below the elbow. I'm going to stretch the posterior deltoid, or the back of your shoulder. Make sure that the shoulder isn't coming up towards the ear. We want to keep it depressed down and pulling across the chest, feeling a nice deep stretch. And we'll switch sides. Excellent. Okay, let's do a little bit of triceps here. So reaching one hand up towards the sky, bending the elbow, drop the forearm behind the head, grab the elbow, and gently pull in. And if you'd like to, you could add a small side bend to help enhance the stretch and stretch the obliques side of the body, which we did during those side planks. And switch. Excellent. Okay, let's come down onto the ground now. We're going to lay on our backs. We're just going to do one more stretch. So lying on our backs, we're going to cross the right leg over the left knee at the ankle. And then one hand on the outside, one hand's going to grab in between this little diamond here. And we're going to stretch that deep glute muscle. Kind of get a little bit tight if we're seated a lot during the day. Or even runners sometimes can suffer a little bit from a bit of extra tension through the deep glute muscle. And switch. Of course, this might be more than enough of a stretch for you, so if it is, that's okay. But if you'd like to enhance it, we could bring that leg up. Protect the knees by keeping the feet flexed here, up to the sky, don't let them point. And if you needed more of a stretch, you could also apply just a tiny bit of pressure on that elevated outside knee. And release, and slowly come back up to sitting. Okay, thank you again for participating in our total body conditioning workout. I hope you enjoyed the workout. Please feel free to leave any comments or feedback in the comment section below. Again, we did total body circuits, so we were doing muscular endurance, higher repetitions, and doing aerobic intervals to help increase our overall workload capacity and our ability to sustain work for longer periods of time. Again, my name is Katherine, fitness and sports instructor out of London, Ontario, servicing Southwestern Ontario. Stay healthy, stay safe.